Who am I? You tell me. I'm a comic book artist, comic book writer, comic book creator. I do Batman, I do X-Men, I do Superman, I do all the crappy stuff that you get from America. No, I like to work with me. I think of pouring red paint over Denny O'Neil's head and making the Red Skull. You know the Red Skull?
Yeah.
If you pour red paint over Denny O'Neil's head,
Yeah.
he becomes the Red Skull. I know it seems as though I have, but I haven't. I do the same Batman that Jerry Robinson did and Bob Kane did, only I draw him better.
Yeah.
And somehow people think that if I draw him better, that means that I changed him, but I didn't really change him. He's the same Batman that he's always been. People who change him, like put garrison belts on his waist that they had in World War II, which is sort of silly, or they put heavy armor on him, they change them, Batman, but I don't change Batman. I keep the same Batman. So when I did Batman, the only difference was that I draw it better. And the idea of having better artists, more professional, better trained, seems to be a difference. Because back in the early days of comic books, most of the artists were teenagers that were taken off the streets with terrible portfolios, who couldn't draw very well. They could draw, but to a certain extent. Once you start paying somebody some money, they basically stop getting better. So I'm a trained artist, and I've done lots of different things, so I'm going to tend to draw it better. And people are going to look at it and they're going to go, oh, that's different. No, it's not. It's really not different at all. It's the same Batman that we always knew. He wears a costume. I don't think that he wears, other people have drawn him, for example, with combat boots, you know, with the treads on the bottom. Well, how does a guy who's gymnastic wear combat boots? That doesn't make any sense. He can wear ninja boots because he's acrobatic, but he shouldn't wear combat boots. That's ridiculous. So he shouldn't wear a garrison belt, he shouldn't wear combat boots, and he shouldn't wear a heavy costume. So I don't do that. I draw a gymnast, a circus athlete, somebody who is slim and who can do athletic things and can do judo and martial arts. And if you can do martial arts, you don't do combat boots. That doesn't make any sense. Denny did his job and I did my job. Denny was, you have to understand that artists sometimes resent working with a writer because they feel that the writer does less work than they do. And that's the truth, in fact. They do. They spend less time working at it. I mean, you can write a comic book on a weekend. It takes a whole month to draw a comic book. So that some people resent that. I don't. I'm a professional artist. I know what his job is and I know what my job is. And his job is to go off and to write a comic book and to believe that I'm going to draw the comic book that he writes so that he doesn't have to write all this extra exposition because I'm too stupid to understand. So he can then remove all that exposition and focus on dialogue and the story. So my job is to give him confidence that I'm going to do exactly the story that he writes so that he can relax and to do that story. So if you speak to Denny O'Neil, that's exactly what Denny O'Neil will tell you, that he is comfortable working with me because he doesn't have to explain everything. I understand. And so he can focus on writing. So my work with Denny O'Neil has been a total pleasure because he does his job and I do my job. Just as when I do the writing, nobody bothers me about the writing, whether I'm writing for another artist or I'm writing for myself. You have to be professional. That's one of the things that have come into comic books. We have more people that are professional, and so we have a better product, in spite of what some people may say.